Hi, Team Flyer. How are you today? I'm so super excited and proud to have a fellow Latina on board once more to celebrate empowerment, to celebrate strength, to celebrate inspiration. Like I was telling her, I think that word is not enough for her story because holy moly, here we go. As you already know, we're here every Wednesday. Um, things are changing by August, by the way, because Latina is here, so we can talk about that at some other point of life. But meanwhile, definitely without a doubt, I love people when they introduce themselves and show who they are with their own worlds. So, hello, Elena. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me here today. My name is Elena Rodriguez. I am an author and a creator of Broken Stronger. My book is called Broken Stronger, and that's the platform of my work. First, I'm a mother. I have two teenage sons that are my world, and I'm also a thriving widow. And I can tell you why I've added the word thriving widow to that. But I'm an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs DNA. I grew up with a strong faith. My grandma, strong faith, but somewhere in me, I always knew I was going to be my own boss. So
Preach.
I help women just boss up. I empower women to boss up and just
That's exactly what we love you. We love you for that and many more reasons, believe me. Goodness, we're all about it. And
yeah.
before I forget, happy belated birthday, because your birthday was yesterday.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
We all got to go to your page and
Everyone.
tell you happy birthday a million times, because holy moly, another brand new year, brand new start.
Yes. Woo.
So,
Thank you.
your inspiring story, to say the least, starts with your husband passing away.
Mhm.
So walk us through, what was your situation like when that happened and what did you decide to do?
Oh my goodness. There's so much packed into like a couple weeks time. I was a leader at a corporation for like 4 years and I'm an entrepreneur. I told you. So I decided to just break off and start my own business. So I left my job. Okay, I left my corporate job to start my business. My husband was going to take care of us for about a year. And about 3 weeks after I left, he had a heart attack. And he was 49 years old. And I actually came into the room to just give him a kiss. He was taking a nap and found him having that first
Like
breath.
reaction
I thought he was
system.
teasing. Like he went to take a nap. I walked right back to give him a kiss, and I actually was like, you can't even be asleep yet. You just came back here, and I caught that moment. So I feel so blessed to have been there in that moment. But he had a heart attack a couple weeks after I left my job, and he was in ICU for almost a month. He ended up passing away on Christmas Eve.
Which is a
Um,
whole
Christmas is my
story.
favorite time of year. But we had to make the decision, or I had to make the decision as his wife to turn the machines off. I mean, he just wasn't there. So that was Christmas Eve. And, you know, there's nothing worse than dealing with losing someone on such a magical time of year. But then the crazy thing was coming home and having my boys look at a Christmas tree that had nothing, like there was no presents, we had no food. Like I had been at the hospital for a month, and as a mom, that's hard. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
You want to have a holiday for your kids, so there was so much that just fell apart, like in a.
Instantly.
So it was like, what Merry Christmas? Like, what Happy New Year? Like, what just happened to our life? I'm now out of work. He owned a business, so that business virtually like shut down over like everything just fell apart. And I think somebody was able to bring over a meal for us, and it was like, Merry Christmas, boys. I mean, it was hard. Like, it was hard. So yeah,
that
that that's the moment that it just all blew up right there.
So that's I know this is the first part of the story. We'll get to the second part shortly. So
Yeah, because it gets better.
Yeah, Team Flyer, if you think this wasn't enough, wait for it. Just hang on tight, because holy moly, like I always say. How old were your kids again? Because this wasn't that long ago either.
No, he passed, it was Christmas Eve of 2018. So I call 2019 my year of hell. Like my year of, like right now, how bad things are in the world today, I'm like,
this is a breeze.
Like, let me help you, because I've already like rebuilt, going through when everything crumbles apart. But my boys are 14 and 18. So they were 13 and 17, at the time. And just, there was school, they were still in school. And, I have 3 dogs. We just went home. Like the world just shut down. So 2019 was my year of hell. When you talk about using the sentence, can things get any worse? I caution people using that sentence, because I've learned, yeah, they can. Don't ever ask that, because yes, they can.
Yes, they can. I agree. I'm usually a more positive person than negative. After all the struggles of my life, I'm like, how do you ever so positive after you've gone through? I'm like, because you have to be. Because
you have to, yeah.
Things are definitely can get worse and can be worse. So I'm grateful, and I'm going to be positive and just move forward. Because holy cow. So, what made you keep going and get that strength to find your path?
Faith, God, first off. But here's the thing, like before I left my job, I had just gone through like a major neck surgery. I have a big scar and I have a metal piece back here. So some things had already happened in my life that I knew exactly what I was going to do. I owned a business for 13 years and closed it when I was turning 40, because a lot of big corporate businesses open, and I just couldn't compete. I was like a small mom and pop shop, so I just couldn't compete. So I took that, I took a corporate job, corporate leader, promoted, tripled my income within like 12 weeks. I mean, it was a great job. A lot of people would have loved that job, but I just knew there's more that I can do. There's something deeper in me. So I was kind of on that path before my husband died, that, I want to write a book. I want to coach people. I want to train people. I mean, that's just what I do. And so when he died, I had a lot of people ask me, Elena, what are you going to do now? So what are you going to do now? And I knew exactly what they meant. Like, you're not working, your husband, that, like, what are you going to do? And it would have been very easy for me to just go take my job back and that be it. And I thought, no, God put me on this path before my husband died. It was called Broken Stronger before he died. And I thought, this is part of it. The pain that I was going through was going to allow me to help women in a way that I would have never been able to do had I not gone through that. So that determination, really, of helping women, like, I can't be the only one to go through this. People, if I didn't have anybody for myself, and I thought, you've got to be for what other people need. Like, you've got to be that person. That's what pushed me every day. And to show my boys that when life gets hard, don't crumble, don't fall, dig through the rubble, sort it out, but keep going. You might not be able to see the step in front of you. It might be dusty and dark, but just keep going. And that's what I did. Like, was it easy? No. It would have been very easy to, go into a depression and not want to shower for weeks at a time. And I mean, I lost money. He didn't have life insurance. He was only 49. We weren't planning for that. I mean, there was nothing. nothing. And it'd have been easy. It'd have been easy for me to just get a job and be like, this is my life now. But I've never believed in easy. So
I love that statement. I really,
yeah,
really do, because I reflect on that actually, and if I look into my life, I'd be like, oh yeah, I never really took the easy route. I mean, I was never handed an easy life.
yeah,
However, within that, I knew that I was meant for something more, and I always pushed myself every single day
yes,
through making my own personal projects. This Always Believer, now Latina, and like every single bit of my time, even if when I had the 40-hour job and I was corporate as well and whatnot, I was like, no, I'm still working on this, focusing, because there's something more. You're made for
yep,
more,
yep,
and you gotta find that. So I completely agree that
yeah,
you didn't want to take the easy way out, because why?
no. Yeah, to me, it wasn't even an option. I
Yeah,
was
exactly. I would have, yeah.
and just get a job. Like I would figure this out. I didn't know how, but you just stay committed and it happens. Like we hold incredible power. We hold in amazing potential. And I just wasn't going to lose this fight. And it just kept coming though. I felt like I was in a boxing ring, and every time I'd stand up thinking like, okay, I got through it. Then it was like, boom, like something else came and knocked me down. And I'm like, okay, boom. But you just dust off and think after a while, it's like, it just tickles,
It just tickles, right? I love that. Oh my God. We've been emailing back and forth, and I know a lot about you, and I've been looking forward to talk to you, because it's like, it's that vibe you already get. You're like, okay, this girl knows.
Yeah,
Like, she's
yeah,
got it. Good.
yeah, yeah.
So, um, following up now, to the second part of what happened, because you battled with your own personal self-doubt and lack of confidence, and also you had to let another secret about what happened and about your husband.
Yeah.
You had to let all that go before you could move forward. So
Oh my
please
gosh.
enlighten us about the second part of what happened.
This is the reason I said don't ever ask like, could it get any worse? Because yeah. So he passes on Christmas Eve. I actually started writing my book about 3 weeks after he passed. I thought, if you're gonna do it, just do it. Women need you. I was focused on business, and so it gave me something. But as I discovered, that there was really no money. I thought there was money. There was no money. All I prayed about was, please let me keep my home. That's all. Like, I don't want to move my boys. We've been through enough. Please let me keep my home. Well, we finally get where it's like, okay, we're gonna make it. We're gonna get through this. And long story short, I discovered that he had been having an affair for 5 years. And I had just invited that woman into my home. She was keeping up on all the happenings of him at the hospital, and I just thought she was a friend. I invited her into my home, and probably as about a day or two later that
You found out.
I found out, and we were only married. We were together 8 years. We were married 2. So she was in the picture before we even got.
Oh, I don't know if that's
So,
any worse. But still,
I mean, it's just like
just the whole thing. Yeah,
so
it's so
much,
wrong.
so much. So when I talk about like feeling like I was in that boxing ring, just getting beat up after beat up after beat up, that one really it knocked the wind out of me.
Oh, of
Like, the
course, love.
moment. Now here's the thing: I had been cheated on before. Like, I don't know, it's kind of like a common thing, I guess, or maybe it's just something I bring to the table. I don't know, but from teenagers, and you have those boyfriends, and so as far as like being cheated on, I had experienced that, but never would I have thought that it would have come from my husband. And to find out after he had passed, well, that's something I hope no woman ever goes through. No
Yeah.
woman ever goes through, because you have to process all of it. You can't get answers. You can't, like, you just have to, you have to accept it. You have to forgive it. You have to, like, because if I didn't forgive it, it would eat me up every single day. And that yeah, it was 9 months. 9 months after he passed that I find out about it. And it just stirred up all other kinds of,
Of course.
healing. It's like at first I was grieving, now I'm pissed. Missed you, now I'm mad at you. Like it was crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it was definitely one of those really fast, really super loopy loop roller coasters all
Oh my
happening
God.
all year long. Because you always say like life is a roller coaster, ups and downs. So this one's like super fast loop. You know what I mean? Like what is happening? Anything else? No, thank you. Okay, good. That's it. Okay.
Yes.
I'll go off the ride now. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
good.
You can like let me off anytime now. But and I really debated on whether I should tell my kids or not. Because this was a second marriage. So let me put it that way. Like so it wasn't my boys, it was their stepdad.
Okay.
But they held a lot of guilt. They were missing him. Did they treat him right? Was he loved enough? All the stuff that you kind of go through after someone passes away. And I really debated, do I tell them or just hold it in? And I thought, no, they deserve to know too, because there was a lot of things that they were dealing with. And I'll tell you what, it strengthened the relationship with my boys for sure, but it brought healing to them too. And we just needed to let it go. Like we just all needed to let it go. But that, I hope, like if there's anybody out there that is watching that has ever discovered an affair after the person has passed away, raise your hand and I'm praying for you, because it's not easy. Like
it's not easy when they're alive, because you do have the questions and you're like, what the F? Like what is happening right now? Like, but after, I can't even just imagine. And I don't want to, but this is why, like, when I said inspirational story, I'm like, inspiration doesn't really cut the word. Like, I don't know what word to use for your story and your strength and your, because you're one of the comments I get a lot of times on the podcast. I get really emotional, I cry, I laugh, I'm in between. But they're like, you also tell the story in a little bit light-hearted way sometimes. Like it's not a big deal. Like, or I say like, oh, I've been sexually abused, and like that's pretty easy. I'm like, yeah, because you've gone you've gone through it. You're like, I'm here now. I was there. I get it. I get the point. Get the picture. Here I am. So this is kind of it's interesting. I can hear it by how we're talking now. I'm like, we're very uplifted, even though
it's like
how happened.
I've gone through it and I dug through it and I healed through it, that now it's almost like it's just a part of me, something I went through. It's an experience. But I think the biggest thing is I totally live by, don't ask the questions that you will never receive answers to. And we all have those.
That is a mic drop right there. We all, regardless of what happened in your life, good or bad, we all have those questions. So that is
and we replay them, and we ask them again, and then we hope that maybe if we play it in our head a different way, we'll come up with a different result. But really, it's like, just don't ask anymore. Just, you're not going to get your answer. It's never going to turn out different. So just stop. And I have the discipline to do that. It's like, just, you're never going to know why. I actually felt sorry for her, because I thought she was a secret and she's grieving and she can't share it with anyone. And
that takes guts to say that, like a lot of integrity. So
yeah,
good for you. I always think about that as well.
Yeah, like, she was following along and she wanted into our home. Obviously, she came to my home. And I thought, 5 years, you can't, like, 5 years, come on. So I actually went into the mind space of, I wonder what she's going through, because she's the secret and she can't, like, and I thought, okay, don't let your you're we all have that good side, bad side. And I thought just let her be, because I had friends that were like, oh, let's go beat her, like, let's go get her. And
It's like, no, let her.
yeah,
I mean,
because
a woman I mean, you have to put yourself in that position to some extent because it's like you're a woman, so you understand, first of all.
mm-hmm.
We'll all have different complexities and pressures in life and etc. And then you're like, can you imagine being kept secret or keeping supposed, like, it's 5 years, not 5 days or 5 months. It's a long time.
Yes.
So it is very interesting. And like, I'm assuming by now, probably, of course you don't talk because why would you at the end of the day? And things like that, obviously. It's just, did, and I'm also sure that you also changed your idea probably a little bit about him some way, somehow along the way.
It just all, it's just such a mix of, like, it's every emotion.
Exactly. You want like doon, like, like
It's like
ping pong
it's
tables.
all of them.
Yeah.
Full spectrum. Love, hate, happy, sad. It just
Being angry. Yeah, exactly.
you, or am I glad you're gone? Like what? It was so many things.
Exactly, because it was still also at the end of the day also a big part of your life because it was 10 years, 8+2, as you said.
Yeah.
So it's still 10 years.
Yes.
So showing your truth, being exactly who you are, not caring what others think, because that's another part of the story. All that takes time and courage and self-love. So share us a little bit, like what happened after. You know what I mean? Like
here's what I knew. I'm a coach, okay, a life coach. So I help women in business, life, relationships. And I was in a conference, a training in California. And let me think, it was probably October of 2019. And so this was just about 8 or 10 weeks after I found out about his affair. And it hit me that I work with women. I help them through their pain. My business is Broken Stronger, turn your pain into power, all this stuff. And I thought, but girl, you're not being honest. You're not being true. You're hiding this. Was I hiding it out of shame? Or was I hiding it out of just trying to protect him? Was I there were so many reasons that popped up as why I felt this had to be my dirty little secret. And I realized I can't do that. Like, in integrity of who I am and helping women own their pain, turn it into power, face their fears, like all this stuff. I thought, I don't know if we can cuss on here, but I was just going to say, I was calling bullshit on myself. That if I can paint this facade, but know that inside I'm living this lie that was not my lie to carry. I didn't do those things. But I thought, oh my gosh, but what do you do? If you say this out loud, people will have opinions and think you're bashing a dead man, right? Family's gonna hate me. I mean, so many things, but I thought, but I have to be true to me. And if I'm going to serve women the way that I say I do, I have to say it out loud. So I left that, we had a full day of training at my conference. I went back to my hotel room, took a nap because I was tired. But when I woke up, I felt I felt like, oh God, you're telling me now's the time. I went into my bathroom because that's where it's like it was quiet, and I went on Facebook and I pressed live and I just said it all, like all of it. And I thought, I have to do this because I believe in the work that I do. And the work that I do allowed me to heal myself, but it took to be able to say it out loud. And that's why, I think so many women are walking around carrying things that aren't their fault, but to protect people, or they're worrying about what other people are going to think, or what's going to be said about them. So they're holding themselves back and carrying this like big weight inside of them. And I didn't want to, I wasn't going to do that. And I thought, you know what? It wasn't my fault. I discovered it. I didn't do anything. Like, so I just put it out there, and I live by that mantra of what you think of me is none of my business. So if you want to talk about me, talk about me. If you want to have an opinion, have it. Cool. It's not my business. I don't want to know about it. And it was the best thing I could have done. It really was, because so many people stepped forward in their own stuff.
Exactly.
And it turned into a positive. I've been able to take this ugliness that wasn't mine, but it got delivered to me, but I've been able to take this ugliness and turn it into something good for other people. And so at least that makes it worth it. I always say, at least let your pain be meant for something. Don't just go through it to go through it. Make it count.
Make it count.
That's what I did. That's what I did. So instead of telling one person,
I told the world.
Let's just rip the Band-Aid off and
just let's deal with it. Why not? Yeah. This is the part where I'm not only speechless, but that got me teary, because
I had to block a lot of people after that too. Let me just tell you, I wasn't going to have the negativity in. It's like, this is
good. This is my journey. This is me.
If you don't want to, I'm not going to sit here and have to defend what I know to be true. Like, you don't have to believe me. I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm not even bashing him. I've never bashed him. Like, wow. I still honor him. I rest in peace. Like, he's good. We've made our peace, but it's my truth now. I'm the one that had to learn how to handle betrayal on top of grief. Like, I've had to learn to do that. It has nothing to do with him in the sense that those were his actions, but I've had to pick up these pieces for myself, and I'm still here living. It's my life. And so, yeah, I had to block a lot of people.
And that's all right. Yeah. There's so much to unpack there, and I'm gonna also continue asking about other stuff and how you turn your leaf. But before we do that, not only, of course, I'm very thankful to share this story, for you to like also use our platform to just help others the way that you already do. I completely resonated with what you're saying, obviously. Yeah. We do carry a lot of guilt, and we try to protect some people, and even though it has nothing to do with us and what we've done, it's carrying their weight and etc. At the same time, it's also thinking about what they think, and this is why we hesitate on, oh, I'm not wearing that, just see like whatever, like, because they're going to say so and so that I'm a so and so, you know what I mean? Something as quote unquote as simple as what you wear to everything else that goes more profoundly than that, of course. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure a lot of our, of course, audience resonates the same way, because it's kind of like, it's so empowering when you let go. I've let go a lot. That's another, when people ask me that as well, I'm like, I just let go. I have to. If I want to continue to live my life to my fullest and live my own truth, I have to. And I love how you said at the beginning, the first thing came to mind is that you talk the talk and you walk the walk. And for me, that's something extremely important, because that's something that you're always going to see me with every single platform, with Serious Believer, my own personal profile, Latina, whatever the F I do after this, in general. Like, it's one of those things that for me, it's like, if I tell you that, you have to drink your water every day and you have to work out, then I'm also going to be there. When I tell you that I upload no filter, no makeup, hot damn selfies, I'm going to be there, you know what I mean? And the same goes, because it's that, and I feel like it's the essence of who you really are, because we're so much. And this comes from me, that I still know for a fact that I have so much to go as well. Mm-hmm. So if by just doing a little every day helps, first of all, myself, because we are the most important person in our lives, but then also our community, then why not? So I'm hella proud and hella just happy and thrilled that you took that leap, and you took that, you, like you said, block those people out. And I think there's something else, well, as you become older in general, because I also have, like, I speak a lot with teenagers and youth, and I'm like, you'll figure out when you're older that you just learn to surround yourself with people that lift you
Yes.
higher. And
Yes.
there's no time, there's no need, there's no energy for negative comments.
No.
Have your opinion, like you said, that's fine. You know, we're going to get quote unquote haters everywhere. Then just push through, know who you are. So,
yep. Absolutely. And, you know, the one thing that I can say that I've learned through all of it is, you know, when someone dies, we all say, you know, life is short, you know, appreciate every moment, life is short. And we say that, and then the time goes by and we all go back into our same crap. But I truly lived that. Like in that moment when I walked in and saw him catch that main gasp for air, like that will never leave me. And the moments following with the paramedic, like everything, and them shocking him, like that will never leave me. And so I do live every day that this could be our last. Yeah. Like I know firsthand how you're coming home for a nap and you don't wake up.
Exactly.
And so, you know, if people want to go on their lives and think like, I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll get to it when I have the money, or when I have the time, or when everything like aligns perfectly.
That doesn't happen. No, people have seen my UTV. People who have followed me for a while know my living situation and how we're doing and how we moved from like Spain to the States and all that. So, because like I said, I'm very transparent. I mean, I don't say all my life, but in the sense of it being like start today, start now. I record from my bed because we don't have an office yet. I'm not going to wait until that life is perfect, because first of all, of course, it doesn't exist. No. And I'm like, the short amount of time that I've been doing this, all of a sudden, I got signed by a record label, by a production company, and so on and so forth. So many things can happen if you take the leap, and I
just take the step. Yeah.
Much like you, I've had a really bunch of close encounters with like almost there for death or near death. So for me, every single day, my husband knows, like say like give me a kiss before you go, and he was like, he wasn't not as affectionate by any means. But just kind of that routine, I'm like, you just never know. Just please. Yeah. And then he's been doing it for years. And little things here like that is like, you're right. Like, I'm like, yeah, exactly. Because he's just like, you gotta really appreciate it. And I'm the first one. Like, if you met me, it's like, appreciate everything, basically. So, going back to
appreciate everything. And I totally live by a chaos and drama-free life. As much as possible. It's always possible. But it's still a choice. You either invite it in or you don't. Or if it seeps in, you deal with it and then remove it. But, to stay in that place of limbo and gossip and negativity, like that's not for me at all.
No, not at all. Goodness gracious. You turned a new leaf. So now definitely we are going to the part of your story that's why we're sounding so upbeat and uplifting when we talk about it, because we've gone through it. It happened. We've gone through it.
Yeah.
You got broken stronger from before.
Yes.
Which is a whole different side story. But in general, for this purpose right there, it makes total sense, for a company to be called that.
Yes.
And of course, it resonates with me deeply. Yeah. Is there a quick backstory to the name, or is it just an overall statement of...
No, my faith is, if you know me, I talk about my GOD all the time. Grand Overall Designer is my God. Whoever that is for you is, people call it Jesus Christ, Master of the Universe, love, high energy, like whatever. But yeah, it's my God. I love my God. And I've been like that forever. When I had my neck surgery and I was off of work at that time for like 12 weeks. Like I literally could not talk. They had to go in through the front, move like the esophagus over to put a metal piece back here. So I was silent, literally. And it was at that time that I started hearing the idea that I was going to write a book. And it was never a thought in my mind, like ever. So I was like, nope, you got the wrong person this time. I don't even read. I'm not a writer. I'm not writing.
Try again later.
Yeah. Sorry, God, you made a mistake. You picked the wrong person. And that the thought just stayed with me for like 5 days. I walked around, or laid around, I should say, and I didn't know what to make of it. Well, one of the nights, I was brushing my teeth and trying to get ready for bed, and I honestly heard, like, you will write a book. It will be called Broken Stronger. And I'm like, pause. And I got toothpaste, just like, I'm like, what? And so I had never heard of Broken Stronger, like, ever. That it just came. And so, like I said, I'm a huge faith, like, God is my everything. And so at that time I was sitting there, and I've got so much pain. Like, I'm one of those that I was a deep thinker as a child. You know, my dad left me when I was 8. Like I said, I was cheated on. My boyfriend got another girl pregnant. I ran away from home in high school. I mean, I have a lot of stuff back there still. But God let me see it. God let me see, like, all these moments of pain, but it was like a movie trailer or a bunch of screenshots. And I was able to see my strength. I was able to see all the things that I lived through and that I handled. And I started bawling because I realized, like, I'm a badass. I made it. Like, and so when he said, you're going to do Broken Stronger, I texted my sister, and I'm like, okay, I have one sister. She lives in Texas. And I'm like, okay, sissy, you're going to think I'm nuts. This is what happened. She's like, oh my God, don't let that go. Like, is that name taken? I'm like, I don't know. I just heard it. And I'm like, of course it's not taken. God gave it to me. But I went and I trademarked and registered the name that night. Before I went, I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I didn't know, but I thought, Broken Stronger, that's mine. That's, God gave that to me. So I registered the name. And that's kind of the start. But it was several months later that this journey started. So I registered Broken Stronger. I created my exit plan from my job to work on Broken Stronger. God had already shown me what I had lived through, the power that I held. And I now know that he did that because he was making space for really everything that was coming in my life that I had no clue. And I don't believe I would have gotten through all of that, the death, the affair, like all of that, had God not already showed me how he can heal every pain. And that's the true cycle of how Broken Stronger came to be. He told me about it, but then he put me through so much more
to make sure that you get the point.
Make sure that I'm strong enough. And so that's why now I'm like, bring it. When I work with my clients, it's like, let's take your brokenness, but I'm going to help you find your power in it, because you are amazing. You have incredible strength. You can do this. And that's what I help people do.
Exactly. Because all this rude awakening, better said, has turned into a very positive light. Because that's, as you said before, you're a life coach, of course.
Yes.
And that's just incredible. I do resonate when I read Broken Stronger. Yeah, there you go. I was gonna say Broken Together. That's what. Broken
Okay.
Stronger. It made me smile, and it made me, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just one of those things that's like, oh, like you totally get it from the get-go.
Yes.
It's like that. I feel like it's one of those names that, especially if you've gone through pain, no matter how big or small, it's every feeling and every situation that you've gone through is valid. Broken Stronger just makes sense.
Yeah.
And I love that story.
Every one of us. It's like, I want shirts that every single woman out there could wear, because it's like, sometimes I don't think we give ourselves credit for how well we're doing.
I agree. I'm the first one to tell you that I am that person.
Yeah.
I get my husband all the time, and he's like, it's like, celebrate those wins, my love. And I'm like, what wins?
Yeah.
What's happening? This is just my job. Like, this is what I do with my life.
Yeah. No, and I honor the wins. I see people's strengths. I believe in people probably before they believe in themselves. And because that's just my gift. But we all could wear a tag that says broken stronger.
Oh,
Like,
definitely.
mhm.
Definitely, without a doubt. I feel
Yeah.
like I mean, that's something similar enough to my name, to, well, not my name, my name, but the always believer in this particular case.
Yes. Mhm.
What you said, it's faith in God and the universe and whoever it is that you want is always to believe. I've said the same, I always said always believe since I was a kid, basically. I always knew there was something better for me out there whenever I was
Yeah.
living on the streets, whenever I was living with a million people, whenever I had just, I don't even know where to begin
Uh-huh.
anymore. Just everything
Yeah.
else in between of
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Um, Keep going, keep pushing. There's always light for you. There's always something. Believe that there's something.
Yeah.
And that's what kept me through. I remember when I started writing, as you previously asked before we started recording, and one of my best friends, she also told me, because I said I thought the name The Always Believer,
Uh-huh.
simply because instead of just always believe, because I feel like we're all always believers. Like, it's not just
Yes.
me. I just named this company after myself. I do have a personal profile. Great, good for me. But this
Right.
community is that, like, you're also a believer, or always believer. I like, people are like, oh, and God again. I'm like, no, whatever you feel like, but just that kind of strength and inner power, of course, because that's just the vibe that you have to have in life.
Yep.
And it makes perfect sense, much more like what you're saying. So I definitely resonate with, like, when they
Mm-hmm.
have some sort of words, you're like, yep, this is exactly, if you think about that, that's this person,
Yes.
obviously. And I love it.
Yes. Yes.
You also have a saying that I love, which is dreams are welcome here. So
Yes.
tell us about what you created and how it has changed your life.
Well, I do. I love dreams. I believe that we are each given a gift, and if you want to call it a goal or whatever, but I believe in dreams, and I pay attention to those whispers. And I think each of us receives those whispers of that something so grand that they can do, but sometimes they don't see themselves that grand. So instead of pushing through to grow into that, they kind of take this huge dream and just like shrink it and just bring it down here. And no, I don't play that game. If God gives you an idea, God has given you talents, God has given you passions, God has given you skills, God has given you potential. Like, you have all of this to create that. And, when we're little, we daydream and we see all these things. And sometimes those dreams are dressed in glitter and rainbows and everything's pretty. And somewhere along the way, they turn dark, they dim, they shrink. And I'm the one to tell you, no, I believe in those. So, like, buckle up, because we're going to get to building, and let's build your dream. And I create the platform of dreams are welcome here, because sometimes I've worked with women where they come to me with like notebooks and like in tears. Like, I know there's something more in me. I don't know what it is. People think I'm crazy because I have all these ideas and nobody, there's no support. And I take those notebooks and it's like, no, dreams are welcome here. Let's figure this out. Let's build it. So I have helped so many women actually start businesses, whether they intended to in the beginning or not. When you see what your skill is and when you do what you love, those are the things God gives us. Like,
It
so to me,
shows. It
dreams are
really
welcome here.
shows.
I do trainings, I do workshops, I do courses, but the bottom line is I talk dreams. Like, I love dreams, but if you want to call it a goal, or you want to put it on a to-do list, or you want to make it, like, that's fine, but I'm going to call it a dream, and I help you breathe life into it. So it's no longer just this fairy tale dust idea. You breathe life into it and it becomes your reality. So yeah, dreams are welcome here. My son even said, Mom, you need a doormat that, like, in front of
Oh,
dreams are welcome here. I'm like, that's excellent. I got to order one. So yeah.
that's so sweet. I
Yeah.
adore that. I really do. Not only your son saying that, of course, but also, like, your message that dreams are also welcome and are very much welcome, and I do agree with that. Call it what you like, and it's just
Yep.
it's so empowering. And once you know what you want to do, and it's not easy knowing what you want to do because there's so many complications in life, and
Yeah.
we put ourselves down, like you said, and we do shrink our ideas and goals. And I'm the first one who admits it. I'm the first one like said, oh, I've been there. I've been in a really bad job that I was bored, that I was not happy, that I made myself depressed,
Yeah.
to all the way to see now. And I love keeping that realness. It goes back to kind of what you were saying with your story, because I want to practice what I preach. Like people are like, oh
Yes.
my God, your feed, and you're like, and what you were like show. And I'm like, yes, but I'm also going to show you like all the hardships in between little by little, because it doesn't happen overnight.
Nope.
And where I am today, much like you, is nothing compared to where we're going to be a year from now.
Exactly. And there's been times where it seems to happen at hotels when I'm on conferences a lot. I because I was just thinking of another story, and it's like, oh my gosh, that was at a hotel the one time I was in Brooklyn, New York. But I actually went live because I was like bawling. We had gone through a full day of work, and I was back in my room by myself, and I'm like bawling. And I went live, and it was really to show this is the other side of the dream. You know, so many times people just see, you know, like you got it all together, or like your business is just taking off, or like it just magically happens. And it's like, no, this is the other side. These are my tears. These are my growing pains. This is my confusion. This is my moments of like, what am I doing? You know, I mean, we all go through them. And I think the more real we can and honest we can be about it, shows others like there's nothing different from me than there is from you.
There isn't, and I agree, and I love that. I adore that you went live for something like that, and I've done the same with videos and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I tell people sometimes, not my schedule of like what I'm doing all day, but like, you know, days like literally when today we're recording, you know, I have back to back from 9 to 10. You know, I record 3 times, I have back-to-back meetings, like all this isn't happening, you know, and then I wake up at 5, so I make sure I go to like work out and all these sorts of things, you know. And it's like, oh, you have it all together. You work out and you have a company and you're going to spend time with your husband and you have a kitty and all these. I'm like, this is like hours and hours. I worked last weekend. I work
Yeah.
most weekends, 12 hours a day, 14 hours sometimes, to make that dream come true. Like it doesn't happen overnight. And then on top of that, if that wasn't enough, the fact of like, you don't know what the F you're doing. I mean, you can swear. I usually don't swear. That's why I hesitated. But we can swear here. It's fine. But you don't know what you're doing most of the time. You just got to go wing it and be like, okay, I'm just going to go this way. Let's see what happens. If not, we can just, you know, shift our
Well,
ways.
and that, you know, that's the main thing, is a lot of times that's how you get to the next place. You're not going to get to the next place doing what you already know, what you've already done, because
Oh,
that's
yeah.
you right here, you know? So it's like, you know, I always ask people, what is on your to-do list? Because if there's nothing on there that actually scares you that you don't know how you're going to do, you're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to get to that next place.
Exactly. Then it becomes as well, because I've noticed it with me. Like, first of all, I do agree. Like, put something like embrace your fears. I give
Yes.
like again another shout out to Hello Fears, Michelle Boller. She has a wonderful book. She has a wonderful movement called Hello Fears. Go find her, get her, because holy moly.
Yeah.
At her side for a sec. Not only that, embracing your fears, but also like if you start seeing a to-do list with with things that you already know how to do, your life becomes very mundane and very like ordinary, and then you don't understand, and yet you get depressed, and then you get stressed, and then you get anxiety, and you're like, Joe,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
why you have to really put things in your list, on your list, sorry, um that movie that shake you, that want you to be a better version of yourself.
Yes.
So without a doubt, like, and I'm the number one person to say it. Sometimes I look at my to-do list, I'm like, that's not really interesting for me. Like, I'm gonna like, no, let's find something new and challenging. And if
Yeah.
it's, you know, yeah, so definitely.
Yep.
So talking about unwrapping, trying to wrap this up, because like I love this conversation so much, and
I
I
know
knew it
you're
from the
like,
beginning. I knew it from the beginning when I saw you. I'm like, this girl, come here. We have patience. We have love. Well, let's get together.
yeah.
Oh yeah. How do you self-love and self-care? How do you take care of yourself?
Okay. One of the things that I needed to start doing after I found out about my husband's affair is I started taking pictures of myself. I was never a selfie person, like at all, you know, like if you captured a photo of me, it was rare. But I actually started intentionally taking pictures of myself so that I could look for my beauty and see my own magnificence and start seeing myself through God's eyes and not through someone that was cheated on for 5 years. So that was an intentional step, an action that I took to start seeing the outside beauty. Okay, because a lot of times the first thing when you're cheated on, I think you think like, what was wrong with me? Was she prettier? Was she, like, you go through all these things. And I thought, no, I have to do that first. So, loving myself through that. Now, I embrace and honor my pain. Like, I'm one of those that actually looks at the pain and I see my power and I respect it and I'm thankful to God for it. And so there's not really any action I take on a regular basis now, except for seeing myself through God's eyes. And when I say that, I mean it in the way that He allows me to do what I love to do. He allows me to be a vessel to feed into people. And that's a beautiful thing. And so I honor Him every day in my teachings, I go live on my Facebook page every day. I do a day of thankful just about every day, but He's always present. And that's what works for me, because God loves me that much that it overflows. And that's just how I love He creates two ways. He creates perfectly and abundantly. And He created me. And God doesn't make mistakes. So I believe it, I walk it, I live it, and I try to share that. And when you can feel His love, no matter what, that's all the self-care I need, truly. So
that was truly beautiful.
Thank you.
That really was.
Wow, thanks.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about you, without a doubt, that you speak so openly and so wholeheartedly, and you can tell, you can just feel it, like it just overglows, overshows, over something. It just it goes through the screen.
Busted at the seams, and
there you go. Yeah. So wrapping things up, we're almost at our typical questions that we talk about.
Yeah.
That we always ask every guest, but before we head to those, you have your book, of course. You have your program, of course. Oh my God, I can't wait. I want to read your book. I want to get your book and have it in my hands. This is like, I'm getting your book. You have a community, of course, and you love what you do, and etc. So tell us how, I don't know, how do you feel? Like, I know it's a very typical question, like, not how are you? How do you feel right now within you and your soul?
I'm in complete harmony and alignment in my life. Does it mean my life is perfect? No. Does it mean my life is easy? No. But I'm at peace. I live with the practice of forgiveness, acceptance. I lead with love. I mean, I am so life is good. My boys, we're all here with COVID, so we're all stuck in the house, but life is good. It's like every day, man, is good. And I really feel that way. It's like, yeah, there's stresses. Yeah, there's problems. Yeah, money comes, money goes, this and that. But it's like, it's all great. I love it. God loves me. Yay. I mean, and you feel like that's how I am. Like that's who I am. That's how I am. And I really feel just peace, calm, even to the point where I've talked to my boys that if anything were to happen to me, like that, they know, fight for your dreams. Don't ever just settle. Don't ever do what you think you have to do because society thinks you should do it. Like, fight for your dreams. And so they're learning that already. But I also brought this up on my Facebook the other day, is if I were to die tomorrow, everybody that has known me knows exactly what I stand for. They know my personality, they know who I am as a person, and they know I fight for dreams and that God is my everything. Like, there's no, like, that's who I am. And so I'm at such peace and harmony in my life because I'm in alignment with my values. I'm confident in whatever's coming is for my higher good. Pain and, you know, things like that don't scare me because I know that I'll get through. Like, no matter what's coming, because there's always something coming, it's going to be okay. And I think by living through my own hell and beat down after beat down after beat down, to be in this place of peace, it's like, life is good. You know, I always talk about, like, life is nothing but constant movement forward. It's in motion all the time, full of opportunity. And but life doesn't, it's not fair and it's not unfair. We place the fair or unfairness on. Life's just constant movement forward. It's moving minute by minute, second by second, hour by hour. And we either hop on the opportunities or we don't. But it's not fair and it's not unfair. It's just simply moving. And I love it. I mean, I love it. I wake up in the morning and it's like, okay, what do we got?
What's next? Let's go. Let's do this.
What's coming? Yeah. And yeah, there's hard times, there's sad times, there's funny times, but it's a beautiful thing. And I don't take it for granted at all. And therefore I feel in complete harmony. Like, I'm so at peace in my life right now.
It clearly shows.
You know, I share my smile. I put pictures of me smiling all the time because it took me so long to find my smile again that I thought, I gotta share it with the world, man. Maybe it'll put a smile on someone else's face or something. I don't know, but
exactly. I agree with everything, and it really, really resonates. I feel like you're my inner thoughts right now, and I can listen to you all day because I'm like, yep, that's what I'm thinking as well. Yep, okay.
Yeah.
You know, just being very, very grateful. And like you said, I think about it at the same time. Like, what happens if I'm gone now? What's my legacy? And I feel like leaving a legacy behind and aligning your values and your strength. And even though I'm still, you know, a piece in progress, I think that's the sentence.
Yeah.
Everyone, you know, hoping and praying that everyone who knows me understands who I am and what I'm trying to do and how do I really practice what I preach and just be the change in the world. And this is not a boast by any means. It's like, no, you got to be aligned. And like you said, it's not easy. Does not mean like my life is perfect. Does not mean that I don't have any, you know, problems, because I do.
Right.
But within everything. So yes, definitely what you were saying. I was like, yep.
Yeah.
So now definitely the last questions. What are 3 adjectives to describe you?
Strength, for one. I know that people are like, you are strength, you sell strength, like you're strength personified. Strength. I'm resilient, you know, push me down, I'm going to come back up. What else? I'm a boss lady.
You're badass. You already said it before. You're a badass
boss lady.
Exactly.
Yes. Actually, I had that in my book when I would talk about, you know, being a badass boss lady. That's my hashtag. I had to change it because they didn't want like badass in there all the time, but I still call my people like, yeah, you're badass. Let it show. But no, I mean, I've been referred to, this is funny, I've been referred to as a drug that people will come to when they need to feel good, when they need a hit or a positive like
your happy
injection.
drug.
Yeah, like a happy drug. Like they come to me to feel good, and then they go off thinking like, okay, they're going to do it on their own, and then they get low, and then they come back and they need happy. I mean, so I'm like, hey, if I'm a drug, like, give me a good name, I guess. I don't know.
Badass boss lady. The boss lady drug. There you
Yeah,
go.
there you go.
What are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for this moment with you right now. We've been trying to connect for months, and so it's just great that the timing aligned. And I'm just thankful to be here with you today and to just have this moment. Like,
Same
right
goes. This is why I love what I do. I adore talking to people. I love what I always say, regardless of the fact that there's only one person listens to it or a million people listen to it, if you can just reach one person, and right now between ourselves, we already have that connection.
Yes.
All we're really doing is just recording it and giving it out to the world and see what happens then, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's just having a conversation about like a heart to heart, and I love it.
Yep.
So thank you. Seriously, thank you so much for, you said it's been a few months, but you know, life, so here we are.
Yeah.
Of course, to our beautiful audience, I know there's more than one person listening. I've seen the stats and I've seen the comments. And I'm very thankful, of course. Where can we find you, my darling?
I'm on Facebook a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm one of the older ones, so Instagram and all these others, I need my VA to handle that. But I'm on Facebook a lot, Elena Rodriguez. I have a Facebook page, Broken Stronger. But if anybody wants to just email me, you know, I'm a very down to earth. I mean, like, you see me right here. I will get back to you. And it's elena@brokenstronger.com. Just easy.
There you go.
Yeah.
As always, we'll link everything down below. Everything's right in order, as always. And as what we're saying, a little bit of hint of what's happening with Latina, because you all keep asking me. I always I love introducing new faces like Elena Rodriguez, because I mean we're a community. We're here to empower each other, to lift each other up. So thank you once more to be with us and share that with us, and that's it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you all really, really soon, Team Flyer. Bye.